Hi, welcome to Lower Body and Core. Today we are going to do a leg-based lower body workout, including some core work as well. You will need some dumbbells if you've got them to hand, water and a mat. We're going to get going with our warm-up and then we're going to start with our leg exercises. Let's swing those arms overhead. We're just going to quickly go through the upper body before we warm up our legs and start with the leg strength. We've got a mixture today of mat and leg exercises, standing exercises. Okay, so swinging the arms, just letting the shoulders relax and reaching right up with those hands. Great. We're going to bring the arms in front of our body, crossing over and opening out to the sky. You're opening out that chest. And then we are going to rotate to each side, keeping the hips facing forwards, warming up that spine, increasing the mobility in the spine. And then allowing our hips to follow through. Increasing that range of movement. Okay, bring your hands beside your head. So we're going to hinge at the hips, keeping a little bend in that knee. Hinging over, feeling this down the back of the hamstrings. As you come up, push through with the hip. That's it. So each time you come over, feeling it down the back of the hamstrings. Okay, one more of those. And then we're going to come into our lateral lunge. I'm just going to shed a layer. So we are going to stand to one side of the mat and we are going to step across the mat, bringing our opposite hand to our opposite toe. So coming across, bending the knee of the leg that we're sitting into, pushing up through the heel. And we're just coming across with that one side. Back to the centre, bending that knee. Okay, changing sides, stepping to the other side of the mat. We're going to come across and again. Bending the knee of the leg we're sitting into, opposite hand to opposite toe. Warming up those legs. Opening out those thighs, the hips. Okay, we'll do one more. Right, then we're going to come into a squat. So we're just going to reach up. Excuse me, I just need to make my phone on silent. We are going to reach up and then squatting down, touching the floor. Reaching up, coming down. Reaching up and down. Sitting down into those hips. Reaching all the way up. Good. Okay. Right, we're going to get going. We are starting with a goblet squat. So I suggest either using your body weight or a light dumbbell. I'm going to go for a 6. Okay, so we're going to take that dumbbell under our chin. Just going to pull my window so I can hear a tractor. It's a bit noisy. So we're going to take the dumbbell under our chin. We're going to have our feet shoulder width apart, and you're going to come down into that squat, keeping your knees in line with your toes. Okay? Keeping those knees in line with the toes, sending those hips out behind you, and also keeping your knees behind your toes. So if you have a mirror to look into, Coming down into that squat, keeping the knee behind the toes. You don't need to take it down too far. If you want some guidance, you can have a chair behind you and sit down onto that chair. If you want to take it down a little further, you can. So just coming down, keeping those knees in line with the toes. Have a look down and keeping the knees behind the toes as you come down into that squat. Okay. We're going to go for 2 more. Last one. Great. Okay. First exercise of legs completed. We're now going to do a lateral lunge. I suggest a pair of lightish dumbbells for this one. So we get the technique correct first. We are going to step across into our lateral lunge, bending the knee of the standing leg in line with the toes, and we're going to touch down with those dumbbells. Keeping your knee, again, in line with those toes. Sitting across into your glutes, into your bottom, pushing up through the heel, and we're keeping that knee in line with the toes. We're just coming across with those dumbbells, pushing up through the heel, back to the centre. Feet facing forwards. Don't worry if the foot is slightly off to the side, just keeping that knee in line with it, very important. Keeping your opposite leg straight, so the knee of your opposite leg, keep it straight. So you don't want your leg to bend. Good. Coming across, squeezing it up through the heel. We're going to go for 2 more. Excellent. Now we're changing sides. So to the other side of the mat, we're going to step across and the same, keeping now straightening your opposite knee, keeping your knee that you're sitting into in line with your toe, behind the toe, so make sure you're sitting back into that glute. Good. Pushing up through that heel. Sitting into the bottom. We've got 2 more. Last one. Great. Excellent. Okay. There are 2 first leg exercises done. We're now going to do 2 core exercises. We're going to start with a plank shoulder tap. So, coming down onto the mat, we are going to come up into our plank position. Now there's 2 ways to do this. You either do this from a plank or from all fours. So your regression is to stay on all fours, lean forward into your arms, take your knees a little bit out behind you, and alternating your taps to your shoulders. And if that feels enough for your core, keep doing this. Okay, for anybody else who wants to challenge themselves, we're going to come up into the plank, keeping that bottom down in line with your body. And we're going to keep those hips nice and still. I don't want to see those hips rocking. Work on doing this very slowly, keeping those hips still. So that core is engaged and it's working. Those of you on all fours, keep going as you are. If you want to challenge yourself, take your knees out a little further behind you. We're going for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bringing the knees down to the mat and resting there. Okay. We are next going to do a Russian twist. So, taking a dumbbell, doesn't need to be particularly heavy. We're going to come onto the mat. And I want you to almost think of yourself sitting like a V. So having your back, leaning back a little bit, so your core is having to engage. You're going to turn your torso to each side of your body. So we're looking the way we're traveling. It's a full turn round, not like this. I don't want to see this, I want to see this. Okay, so let's go. If you want to challenge yourself further, taking one foot off the ground. As you come round with that dumbbell, keeping it off the ground. Changing legs every few turns. Keep your feet on the floor if you need to. And if you want to lift both off, you can also do that, providing they're not swinging everywhere. So work with what works for you, and you're leaning back into it, feeling this in your abs, in the top of your core, and your obliques. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. Okay, putting that dumbbell to the side. We are going back to our legs. We have up next a reverse lunge to balance. I recommend starting this without weights. When you feel confident, you can add weights in. I'm not using weights today because I'm recovering from a knee injury, so body weight is enough for me at the moment. So again, with all strength training, work with your position on the day. So we are going to do a reverse lunge. So come to the front of your mat, and you are going to step back enough so you can drop your body weight into your back leg. And then you're going to come up in front to balance, okay? So you're going to step back on that one side, keeping that core engaged, keeping your shoulders back, keeping your front knee behind the toe as you lunge. So you want to make sure you're stepping back. Good. And we're going to keep coming back on that same side. So keeping your shoulders back, keeping your body up to balance. Go at your own pace. Come up to balance, and if you're wobbling everywhere, stay there whilst you find your balance. We're going to do one more on this leg, and then we're going to change legs. Okay, stepping back into the other foot to balance. So coming back far enough that you can put your body weight into your back leg. Keeping that core engaged. And if you want to make this harder, you hold a pair of dumbbells in your hands. And then you are working the leg under tension. But most people will find body weight enough. Stepping back, core engaged, shoulders up. 2 more. Good, and resting there, fantastic. Okay, glute kickbacks. So we're going to come down onto the mat, onto all fours, and we are going to keep our tummy button to spine, and we're going to squeeze back with the glutes, okay? So you're pushing the sole of the foot to the sky, keeping your core engaged, your back flat, your ankle at a 90-degree angle, and you're squeezing up, really feeling that glute as you push up. Good work. Okay, we're going to change sides. So straight into it, pushing up with the other side. Nice strong back. Keeping that tummy to spine. Squeezing it up. Keeping 90-degree angle in the ankle. Sole of the foot to the sky. One more. Good. Brilliant one for activating the glutes. Right, let me open my window again. Okay, what have we got next? We are going to do a plank toe tap. So this is another core exercise. We're going to come down into the plank position. For those of you who will find this challenging, you can work on just holding your plank position for 10 seconds, then bring your knees down And then coming back up into the plank position, okay? For anybody else who wants to challenge themselves, we're going to reach back to our toes. Bring our plank back into a nice strong plank, reaching back to the other side. So those of you holding your plank, work on increasing your plank holds for longer each time. So you could start with 10 seconds today, having a 5-second rest back to 10 seconds. And anybody who is doing this way, we're coming back to our toe. Doesn't matter if you don't reach the toe, but back into that strong plank. So you've got that core control. Excellent. Keep it coming. We're going to go for 2 more. And into your plank, knees to the ground. Fantastic. Okay. And then we are going to finish this first set on our backs. We're going to work that lower core. So coming onto your mat, keeping your hands away from your lower back. We're going to bring those legs up to 90 degrees. First, most of you, 90 degrees to a leg extension, keeping that foot off the ground, should be enough to work that lower core. Anyone with a weaker lower core postnatally, you can just heel tap it down to the ground, keeping that lower back on the ground. And anybody who wants to challenge themselves a bit further, you can bring your legs up straight and do your full leg extension down, but just making sure that that lower back stays on the floor. So choose the option that suits your core strength and stick with it. Making sure that lower back stays down. If you find it starts lifting, regress the exercise. So from here you'd come to your knee extension. Great. So work with what suits your current core strength. Okay, we're going to go 5, 4, nice and slowly with this, 2, 1, good, and resting there. Great, okay, grabbing a quick drink. We are going to come into our second round, our second set. We're going to come into that goblet squat. So, taking a dumbbell to suit you. I've got a 6 here. We are going to come down into that squat position, okay? So we are thinking about knees in line with toes, engaging that core. Let's go. So the hips up behind us. Keeping those knees wherever the toes are in line. And then have a look down and check your knees are behind your toes as you squat. Okay, so you want to make sure your knees are behind those toes. Good. Just squeezing it back. Hips out behind. I'm going to now show you one from the side. So you're squatting out. Sitting back into your bottom. You don't need to come as low, but coming to where you feel comfortable. Pushing up through with the hips as you come to standing. Keeping those knees in line with your toes and behind your toes. Always good to have a little check. Excellent. Let's go for 2 more. In fact, let's make it 1 more. Great. Okay. And coming up to standing, putting the dumbbell to the side. Close that window again. And then we're going to take a pair of dumbbells because we're going to lateral lunge over to the side, okay? So we are going to stand at one side of the mat. We're going to step across, bending the leg that you're standing into, the knee, sorry, squeezing up through the heel to centre. So you're coming across, nice strong knee. So you're putting your foot down, stepping across into your knee. Keeping your opposite leg straight. Good work, pushing up through that heel. This is good. We've got 2 more. Bending that knee, keeping it behind your toe, sitting into your bottom. We're going to go to the other side of the mat and we're going to change. So stepping across, knee in line with toe. Good work. Just bring those weights down to each side of the foot. But keeping your weight into the bottom. Three more. Ooh, getting warm now. Good. And resting there. Excellent. That's a good one. Okay. Coming into our plank shoulder taps. So, this way this time, coming down onto the mat. For those of you happy in this position, you can progress it. Your knees a little further out, and just tapping from here, okay? Everybody else, coming up into your plank, body weight into your arms, keeping those hips nice and still. And we're just taking alternate shoulder tap, keeping that bottom down. Don't want to see any of this. You might want to go onto all fours if you feel you're in this position, okay? So nice, strong plank, and just work with the repetitions you can do. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring those knees down to the mat and resting there. Great work. Okay, our Russian twist. So I'm going to bring the 5 back into the mix. So I want you to sit back into that V position. So your body is away from your legs. We're going to bring the legs up, or bring one leg up, and we're going to twist from one side to the other. Keeping that dumbbell off the floor, changing legs. If you have one leg off the floor, and if you have both legs off the floor, fantastic, keep them still. So we're turning to each side. Excellent work. Leaning back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great, resting there. You should really feel that in your core, up here, in the sides. It's a really good exercise. Okay, reverse lunge. I think I'll do it forward way so you can see me from here. Might not have enough room. Give it a go. Hello. Okay, we are going to step back. Enough room to keep this knee behind this toe, sitting back into our hind leg, keeping your chest up, shoulders up, okay? So you're stepping back, keeping everything straight and balanced, coming up to balance and holding it until you feel you've got the stability. If you have a wobble, just hold it there for a minute. Okay, so squeezing up, pushing up through that front heel, and just make sure you're stepping back enough so you've got your body weight in that back leg. I'll come back onto the mat and carry on, keep going with it. So you're stepping back, pushing your weight up through that front heel. If you've got a mirror to look in, really helpful. Keeping the shoulders relaxed and back. We're going to go for one more. Good. Giving your legs a little shake out. We're going to come into the other side. So I'll start here again, looking at my camera. Okay, step back into the other leg. Keeping the shoulders relaxed. Keeping tall, Good posture and keeping your stability in that standing leg. This one, the more you do it, the better your stability becomes. Okay, pushing up through that front heel. I'm just going to carry on this on the mat. So you see, you step back far enough for your body weight to go into that back leg. We're going to go for 2 more. Good. And resting there. Okay. Whew, have a quick drink. And then we are going to move on to our next exercise. Glute kickbacks. So coming down onto the mat, onto all fours, you are going to keep that ankle at a 90 degree. So start with your toes into the floor, nice active toe, okay? Tummy button to spine, we are going to squeeze up and back down. Really feeling this in that bottom. Squeezing it back. Good work. Squeeze it right up, sole of the foot to the sky. We've got 2 more. Okay, we're changing sides. Let's go. Keeping that tummy engaged. Squeezing right back, back nice and flat like a tabletop. Concentrate on this one, squeezing that bottom right up. We're going for 2 more. Whew. Last one, squeezing up. Great, okay. Resting there. My window has to come back open. There's a tractor topping a field and I can hear it and it disappears again. So now we can open the window. Okay, coming down to the mat, we've got 2 core exercises left. So we're going to start with our plank to toe taps. So anyone not feeling confident with that, coming into your plank position, holding it for up to 10 seconds, then resting the knees, and then coming back up into your plank position, and then onto your knees, and just increasing that hold each time. And for anybody who's feeling they're able to progress it, we're going to come back up into your plank, and you are going to come back to your opposite toe. Move forward a bit, bring it back into a nice strong plank, and then across to the other side. So each time you're reaching back, and then you've got that core control into your plank. Good work. And it doesn't matter if you don't touch your toe, just come back to where works for you. So if that's here, that's okay. That's just to do with flexibility and mobility and how tight those hamstrings are. Nearly there, keep it going. You might be feeling this in those arms, holding that body weight. We're going to go for 2 more. Last one. Good, and resting there. Fantastic, okay. Coming into our last exercise. We are going to come down onto the mat. I'm going to still run this bit because I made the mat really sweaty, darling. And we're going to do our scissors. So, coming back onto your back. We're going to lift those legs up. You're either going to start from this 90-degree angle, probably more likely. And then we're going to come, I'm going to have to shimmy down that. From 90 degrees, opposite heel to the ground. Keeping it slow. Slow is really important with this. The core is under tension for longer, making it more effective. Keeping that lower back firmly down on the mat. If the lower back begins to lift, regress it, just a little heel tap down from your 90-degree angle. Okay, so working with what works for you, but keeping it slow. And if you want to be coming from a full leg, you do that, but you're making sure that lower back is staying flat. Do not support your lower back with your hands. That is cheating. The lower back needs to stay down. So work with the exercise that works for you, and in time, little and often, you will see the results of this. Okay? So keep it going. We've got a few more repetitions. If your lower back does start lifting, then finish your exercise there and just work with it each time as to how far you can go. Okay, we're going to do 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And resting those feet on the mat and letting your core relax. It's all good. Fantastic. Okay, right, grabbing a drink, and then we are going to come into our cool down stretch. It's warm. Deceivingly warm today. As you can see my nice body mark on my mat. Perhaps you can't see it. The light's got it dull. Okay, so we're going to start. We're going to come into a leg stretch. Hair all over my face. We're going to come into a static lunge, and we're going to lean forward into that front leg, stretching this hip flexor. Keeping your shoulders up, and we're just leaning forward, feeling that stretch through the hip flexor, which tightens as we squat. So really important, please stick around for the stretching. It's great getting stronger, but we also need to make sure that we stretch the muscles again. Really important to remain mobile. So you're pushing that to a point of tension where you can actually feel the stretch. You don't want it to be painful, but you don't want to just be sat here not feeling the stretch. So make sure you really push it. You feel that stretch. Your body's nice and warm, so you can afford to increase that stretch a little. Okay, and then changing onto the other side, holding each stretch about 30 seconds. So again, leaning forward into that opposite side, feeling it in that left or my left hip, whichever side it is for you. Standing tall, hands on the knees, and really push it forward so you can feel that stretch in the hip. Really nice stretch to do. Okay, coming up standing, we are going to, if you've got a wall, put your hands against it. We are going to put one foot back and just push into that calf where you've used it doing those plank to toe taps and your quads. Really important to stretch those calves. So just pushing against the wall. I'm not in the most sociable position. Against the wall, feeling that stretch in that calf. Really push against that wall and you will increase that stretch. And then we are going to change into the other calf. So swapping legs, pushing against that wall. Keeping your front leg knee bent and your back one straight. You'll feel that in your calf. Lovely, good job. Feels great to have that stretch. Leaning forward into that knee, and then coming up to standing. We're going to stretch out that core. So bringing one leg over in front of the other, arms up, reaching up, and then reaching across, and feeling that down here, down the obliques. You also feel it inside into your lats, the back, and just reaching right across, holding that there. It's a lovely feeling. As much as the strength training makes me feel energized, the stretching really does. And it keeps you feeling young. Okay, and then we're going to change sides. So bring your other leg across the body, reaching up and reaching over. And really feeling that stretch in the side too. Great stuff. And then we are going to slowly come up to standing. And we are going to hinge at the hips and just allow the body to hang forward. Have a slight bend in that knee and just let your body hang and feel that down the back of your hamstrings. And just hold that there, taking an inhalation and exhaling slowly. Reaching over. Oh, that's nice, down the back of those hamstrings. Okay, and then slowly coming up to standing, giving those shoulders a little roll. Well done today, that was brilliant. Hope you enjoyed that and look forward to seeing you at our next session. Bye.